And good morning. Great to see you. Are you happy to see me? I said the same thing when I saw myself in the morning. I said, good morning, good looking. My name is Pastor Marco, and I'm the minister here. I feel very privileged to be the minister here at Rimby United. Thank you for everyone who came today. And I saw this morning, I woke up this morning, I saw there was a protest in Calgary for masks. The freedom and the liberty is at stake. Well, a mask is better than a ventilator. Home is better than the ICU. And prevention is better than a cure. So thank you all for wearing a mask today. When you're wearing a mask, you're saying to somebody else, I love you and I care for you. So thank you all. Here I am with no mask saying this. So welcome to Rimby United Church. For those of you who are watching online, and I'm talking to you at home, please let us know where you're watching from. We'd like to know which province, which town, if you're watching from here in Alberta. Please let us know where you're watching us. We want to know who you are and where you are. We are aware here at Rimby United Church, and it's going to be Marco being serious for a minute. You can't do that. We are totally aware that people feel intimidated to come to church. We are totally aware that some people have been hurt, not by God, but by church people. And we are happy to give you this opportunity to watch from home, to be filled with the Spirit, to be nourished, and to help you and support you in your walk with God. Our intent is not to fill the pews with people. Our intent is to fill the people with God. So may you be filled with God today. Well, we're starting our Advent season. What is Advent? I don't know. It's in the Christian calendar, so we're doing it. Advent has, as you probably see behind me, we have the 4 candles of Advent, and we also have the Christ candle. And this week we are lighting the candle of... Thank you, I was hoping. That joke. I was hoping that you would know which one. So let us light a candle in our Advent wreath. The candle of hope. And as you see behind me, people here in the pews and also people at home, there's no choir. We are trying to be as responsible as possible, so there's no choir. Nobody's going to be singing today. You can hum if you want to, but there will be no singing today, at least for the foreseeing future? Foreseeable future. I swear to God, one day I'll sit down and I'll learn English. Until then, just bear with me. So let us sing together. No, let us not sing together. Bad habits are hard. It's like stand, please stand up. And so let us not sing. The candle is burning. before our scripture reading, please listen to this. The beauty of the Bible is in its depth of meaning. The more we exchange, share, imagine, and experience the stories of scriptures, the more it starts to penetrate our souls and become part of who we are. So rather than acting on us externally, it takes shape internally to be lived out in the world. The Bible is not given for our information. It is given for our... The enthusiasm is palpable. Let us listen to our scripture today.
Good morning. Our reading today is taken from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 13, verses 23 to 37. So, be alert and remember how I have warned you. As Isaac said, in the days after that gathering, that great suffering, the sun will refuse to shine, and the moon will hold back its light. The stars in heaven will fall, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then you will see, as Daniel predicted, the Son of Man coming in the clouds, clothed in power and majesty. And he will send out his heavenly messengers and gather together to himself those he has chosen from the four corners of the world, from every direction and every land. Jesus said, "Learn this lesson from the fig tree. When its branch is new and tender and begins to put forth leaves, you know that summer must be near. In the same way, when you see and hear the things I've described to you taking place, you'll know the time is drawing near. It's true. This generation will not pass away before all these things have happened. Heaven and earth may pass away, but these words of mine will never pass away. Take heed. No one knows the day or hour when the end is coming. The messengers in heaven don't know, nor does the Son. Only the Father knows. So be alert. Watch for it and pray, for you never know when that time might approach. This situation is like a man who went on a journey. When he departed, he left his servants in charge of the house. Each of them had his own job to do, and the man left the porter to stand at the door, watching. So, stay awake, because no one knows when the master of the house is coming back. It could be in the evening, or at midnight, or when the rooster crows, or in the morning. Stay awake, be alert, so that when he suddenly returns, the master won't find you sleeping. The teaching I am giving the four of you now is for everyone who will follow me. Stay awake and keep your eyes open. This ends our reading for today. May God help us to apply these words to our lives.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Here at Grimby United, we take the Bible way too seriously to take it literally. And this is a great example for it. Usually, I don't necessarily follow my notes. I go with what I've wrote, but today and for the entire season of Advent, I will be doing expository preaching. Do you guys know what that is? Tell us. It's when you basically take verse by verse and you explain it, and that's what I'll be doing today. I rarely do use the lectionary, and then I decided this year to use the lectionary. So here I am, expository preaching. Say that six times fast. I can't. So the Advent season is starting today. And it's played out in our culture with many conflicting expectations. Well, we need to shop for Christmas gifts, and we need to make sure that we have a turkey and all that good stuff, and make sure that we send all the cards, and that the rummage sale is up and going. We want to hear the silver bells. song and anticipate Santa Claus is coming to town. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear about this. This scripture we just read. So in those days, after that suffering, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. Ba 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 bom. So what this scripture has to do with Advent? It sounds almost like it talks about the end of times. Just like then, people had anxiety about the end of times, and so are we today. We're having, especially in this time of COVID, ooh la la. This stress over the future again weaves itself through our popular culture. And of course, uncertainty is engulfing all of us. When will we have the vaccine? Will it be efficient? Will there be any side effects? And so on and so forth. And what we just read is called the Little Apocalypse. The apocalypse is actually a Greek word that signifies, it means really the unveiling. So, like when we see a piece of art and then like it's covered, right? And then we don't see what's underneath or we barely see it. And then there's an unveiling and it's like, oh, wow, a crust. That's what we call like a bad painting in French. We call that a crust. Yeah, it doesn't translate very well. Well, anyways, you know what I mean. Or when the bride comes to the altar and she's veiled and then we unveil her and then we see her in all her beauty. We see her like on her best day. That's what apocalypse is. It's like the unveiling. It's often called also revelation. It kind of reveals itself. So an apocalypse doesn't mean the end of the world. It means an unveiling, an understanding. For the past 2 millenniums, I think it's millennia. I looked it up. For the past 2 millennia, what? I tell you people at home, some people are just interrupting me. I've had it. It's the end of your days. Oh, I wish I was that kind of preacher. I'm not. Where was I? Past 2 millennia. And even before that, we've always been thinking, when will the end of the world come? And Jesus is trying to have the answer over here. But I'm not going to give you the answer right away. So Jesus starts by saying the stars of the heaven and their constellation will not give their light. The sun will be dark in its rising, and the moon will not shed its light. Back in the day, what was understood is that the signs we see in the sky is basically God talking to us. If you remember in the Exodus, God was manifesting himself through a cloud during the day, and at night through a big fiery light. And people at the time, just like maybe some people now, believed that God was talking to us through the signs in the sky. So when there was an eclipse, for example, people thought that God was sending a message. And that's what Jesus is making allusion here. But what's really interesting about the teachings of Jesus is that it's not what his words is saying, it's what his words are not saying. It's not what we read, it's what we understand between the lines. I said earlier, here at Rimby United Church, we take the Bible way too seriously to take it literally. When we read a passage, we need to be careful to not read it at face value, but to go a little deeper into its meaning. Because it's addressing our spiritual life, our spiritual nature. It's speaking to our soul, not our brain. So the ancients believed events in the sky predicted those on earth. They certainly would view that night sky in chaos as a sign of a coming tribulation. We sure can see a hailstorm coming, right? It's kind of dark, and then it starts to have a lot of noise, and so that's what they were thinking, that God will be speaking to us through nature. The powers of heaven will be shaken, says Jesus in verse 25. The powers could be the stars themselves, or minor spirits, and that's what, again, he was making allusions of. And Jews of the time thought that these spirits, which stood above them in the grading of beings, were evil. If God shook up the spirit that controlled the sky, certainly he intended the same on earth. Then verse 26 says, the Son of Man coming in the clouds. Son of Man is basically taken from the book of Daniel in the Old Testament. Daniel foresaw the Son of Man arrival as a deliverance for the faithful remnant, just as God delivered his people from slavery through desert and the Exodus. I have pictures and I forgot. I have a nice slideshow for you guys. Oh, it's not you, it's me. It's not you, Christine, it's me. So we're talking about deliverance here. Jesus, people say, well, it's not really important to read the New Testament, the Old Testament. Everything we need to know is in the New Testament. But really, in order to understand the New Testament, you need to understand the theology and the meaning of the Old Testament. Because this is all Old Testament. But Jesus is bringing a reinterpretation of it. And again, he's asking us to listen, not with our ears, but with our soul. I posted that yesterday. Jesus is not asking us to have eyes to see. He's asking us to have vision. And that's vision that we need. The angels. Angels really mean a messenger of God. Someone says, oh, she's my angel. I remember this woman was really sick at home, and she said, oh, that woman, she's my angel. Because she brought her casseroles and plowed her stairs and whatnot, and she was a messenger of God, right? So that's what it means. If you think that angels is basically a little fat baby with wings, think again. So it says, from the four winds, east, west, now, what is it? East, west, north, and south. I'm looking at you like you have the answer. I'm looking at you like you're the expert in okay. I'm actually looking at you for approval.
Okay, you got it.
Thank you. And that's really interesting. I really like this one. From east and west, and now north and south, from the edge of heaven. Well, the edge of heaven really meant this. What does it have to do with anything, Marco? Well, at the time, and unfortunately, some people still think that, at the time, the earth was seen as a plate, as flat, like this. And the heaven was basically a bowl on top. And it says where the earth and the heaven meets. Well, it's basically around over here, right? I don't know if the camera can follow me. But it's basically around where the earth and the sky touches. So ancient people thought the earth was flat, a flat plate, and the sky was an upside-down bowl that covered the earth. At some point, the ancients thought that the edge of the earth would touch the edge of the bowl of heaven. Even the people who lived in these distant lands would be gathered for the kingdom. That's what they were expecting, that at some point the heaven and the earth would touch. So here's the answer. Here's the answer that Jesus is trying to give to the people. Well, to us, but at the time he was talking to 4 of his disciples. In our scripture this morning, we saw, and I don't have my Bible with me. Did someone bring their Bible so I can take a look? I want to be burned by hope. What was our scripture this morning, Luke? Is Luke in the New Testament or the Old Testament? It's in the New? Are you sure?
Gospel of Mark, chapter 13.
Thank you! I chose all my scriptures and I've been studying in Luke and Mark and in John. I get things confused. So here we go. Where are we? Watch. There's the word watch and there's the word see. Watching and seeing. And that's where the answers lie. Because you see, the term seeing and watching in the Greek translation we have actually meant a spiritual and an intellectual perception. Almost like perceive, sensing. Then he gives watch, the fig tree, and then the servant that watch. It's about seeing, perceiving, sensing this revelation, this unveiling. Where is God in this time of tribulation? Stand watch, it says, right? Be awake spiritually. How many people are sleeping spiritually? How many people are sleeping spiritually? They don't see God anymore. They don't perceive God anymore. How many people are stuck in dogmas and religiosity and forgot to have a relationship with God? So Jesus is saying, watch for the signs. Watch for the signs of God around you. Where is God around you? Don't you perceive Him? Don't you see Him? It's not about the end of the world. It's about where God is in our times of difficulties. It's not about seeing from the outside, but it's seeing from the inside. The teachings of Jesus challenge both his audience in our uncertain times to trust God with our future. Anxiety and paranoia or futile responses to a situation that requires faith. So many people look for certainties and explanations and the why, oh why, and the when, oh when. But where is God? In this time of uncertainty, in this congregation, faith has been triumphant. The people in leadership said, let's have a rummage sale, and I think we're going to hear about it later on. Will we hear about it? We better, because it's good. We're going to have a rummage sale. And how about we sell cakes? How many cakes have been sold already? That. She said many. Do you know what many means? It means a lot. Let's have it. And then there's many different initiatives that have been started and are being fruitful. This congregation, in this time of uncertainty, in this time of fear, said we are serving God, we're not serving our fears. Let's serve God, let's serve our community. Let's put our gifts together. What are you good at? I'm good at baking cookies. I'm good at making soup. I'm good at making fruitcakes. Let's do that. What do you have, Marco, to give? A big mouth. You're welcome. So just like then, just like now, we have to see the signs. We have to see beyond what scares us, the clouds and the dark skies. We have to see beyond that. Have you ever been on a plane? There might be a storm on the ground, but you're so high in the sky that all you see is the sun. Behind the clouds, there's the sun. The unveiling of the sun, that's what we need to do. We need to see beyond what our eyes, our physical eyes, see. Look for signs. Look for signs of God being in the chaos, of God being in that storm. Do you see God near? Don't you look? Don't look for outside signs. Look inside you. It's a call to wake up spiritually. The servants that were watching out for the master's coming back. It's not the master coming back for all of us once at the same time. It's God saying, hey, I'm here. You know that when we come to church, people think, well, I'll come to church and I'll see God. No, you don't come to church to meet God. God is there all the time. Church is bringing awareness that God is there all the time. God doesn't live here. God lives in all of you. Remember that God made us. God made us. And God is in us. We are part of this. So don't rest assured, God will come at the right time. So are you seeing with your eyes or with your soul? Jesus' message all along was, you don't need eyes to see, you need vision. What's our vision? Do we have the perception to see what can't be seen with our eyes? Are we in slumber? Are we dull and slumbering in our spirituality? The last verse says, stay awake and keep your eyes open. So why do we have that scripture for Advent? Keep your eyes open. Stay awake and prepare for the coming of Jesus in the world on Christmas Eve. And amen. Thank you so much for listening. That was expository preaching. Expository. Now it's time for our online call offering. And you will see this on your screen. You'll see on your screen the email address where you can go and make the offering. So let us listen to our offering.
Please help us support our ministry, because without you, this would not be possible. If you would like to make a gift, you can do so by email transfer at the address shown on the screen. Every bit counts, and what you offer can make a big difference. Another way to give is to share this worship on your social media. Charitable tax receipts will be issued at the end of the year when you provide us with your address. And we thank you for your ongoing support.
And I'd like to thank you for watching. I'd like to thank you for being with us today. Our celebration and our worship will continue. We wish you a good day and a beautiful Advent season.